What up, ET Squad? It's your boy Phoenix.
And your girl Majesty Amore.
And we're back with another video. Today, we have a special guest, my friend Ronny Washington, and I want to tell you a little bit about how me and Ronny know each other. We actually were introduced at a business organization. It was an organization to bring together different individuals to have their own businesses, self-employed people, entrepreneurs, things of that nature. And so we were introduced there. We built like a great relationship. We've actually spoke together on stage at a couple of events, I believe. And it's just like, he's one of my good friends that I can honestly say that if I call him like I did, and and he'll let you know, like he got you. Like if he can fit you in the schedule or whatever the case is, he'll make sure that it happens. And I say that he's very loyal and he can definitely be there to help you out when you need him.
Legit, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes. So ET Squad's a few other things, and Ronny he'll fill in just a second. But one of the other things, y'all, big ups to Ronny for serving in the U.S. Air Force. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And then one of the big things about Ronny is Ronny founded his company, Higher Ed Path, and so it's a consulting company that provides college prep, financial aid, scholarship, and financial literacy. That is important. Not saying the other stuff is not important, but financial literacy is real, okay?
Yes.
And so y'all, ET gang, thank y'all for joining in and seeing what's going on. It's gonna get real. You know what I'm saying? This is some information not only just for, just for fun, for giggles, but it's some real information that we can all take and go on throughout life. So ETE gang, help me welcome Mr. Ronny Washington.
Yeah.
What's up? I'm happy to be here. Thank y'all for having me on.
No problem.
No problem,
anytime.
Man. Absolutely. Well, I guess, is there anything that you would like to say about Higher Ed Path that you would like to, I guess, expand on?
Like entrepreneurship, it's always been in my blood. I think I started my first business when I was like 8 years old or something, right? It was just like a lawn service business. But I've in between then I've had probably about 5 or 6 little businesses, or none of them were real major, but Higher Ed Path is the first business to where I was like, okay, it has to be legit, on point, and I'm gonna work this thing until I build it into something big. Right. And the reason why is, like, in 2008 I got into higher education, into student affairs. So I was recruited by Austin Community College, or hired by Austin Community College, to work with a program called Men of Distinction. And Men of Distinction was a program designed to recruit and retain African-American males into college, right? And so we were, recruiting these men from high schools. We were at the gyms recruiting fellows. We was on the corner back. If you know anything about Austin, back before gentrification, we was on 12th and Chicane recruiting brothers. We was in the barbershops. And so we were bringing people into college, some that always expected to be there, but we were bringing a lot of people that never even imagined themselves being in that kind of environment, right?
Yeah.
And then when they got there, we were able to design programs and all these things to help them succeed and be successful and graduate from from college. So some of them graduated with certificates, associate's degrees. Some of them transferred to 4-year universities, got bachelor's degrees. Some of them went on to get master's degrees, and so on and so forth. So when I got into that program, that's when I fell in love with education, because I saw the way that it can transform people's lives, improve their lives for the better, right? And so so since then, I stayed working as a professional in higher education for about 11 years. In 2016, I started Higher Ed Path, and the reason I started Higher Ed Path is because I'm sure a lot of people are aware of the student loan debt crisis.
Yeah.
How expensive college is and how convoluted and confusing the system may be. Yeah. And even with all the resources that universities and other types of schools have in place to help people navigate it, it's insufficient. Like we continuously saw so many people come through the system just not knowing all the information that they should know, not having the one-on-one help and attention that they should have. And the end result is, some people didn't finish. Most people graduate with way too much student loan debt, and some people get too much student loan debt and they don't finish, which is even worse position, because they don't get the benefit from the increase in income from having a degree, but they still owe that money on their student loans.
Yeah.
Right. And so, especially with minority individuals or traditionally marginalized or oppressed individuals, if we're ever going to start making up ground economically, education is one of those things that we're going to have to use strategically in order to, use it as a tool to increase our income. But we want to be in a position where after that we can begin to build wealth and financial freedom and generational wealth. So that's really the reason why we started Higher Ed Path. And I know that was a long answer, but basically in a nutshell, we provide college planning, financial aid, and scholarship services for the education piece. So our goal is to help people do this college thing with little to no debt. And then the financial literacy piece is something new that we're adding. We're creating things to help people with the financial literacy piece, because there's no point of getting a college education if you don't have the financial literacy.
Exactly.
You may be making more money after college, but you'll be just as broke because you don't know how to manage or grow your money, right? So that is a very important piece.
Yes, that was crazy. It's a real thing, for real.
Straight up.
So, what inspired you to launch your organization?
So number one, the idea came from God. I've relationship with God through Christ Jesus.
That's right.
And God gave me the idea. I was looking for a business. I was looking for my next business, not just my next business, but I was looking for the right business for me. So instead of me just going out and seeing what I can do like I normally would do, and just create some business behind it, and start marketing, start doing all the things. I was just patient this time, and I just prayed to God for my next business opportunity, because whatever it was, I wanted it to be something I could do for the long haul, something I can be totally sold out on, right? And so I was just patient for about a year and a half, and then what happened was there was kind of I was looking into franchise opportunities, and there was an opportunity that wasn't really a franchise, but it was an organization to where they had an online software to where people could go on there, plug in some information, and it would match them up with different colleges, like all this other kind of stuff. And I could be kind of like a person to kind of go sell this program to different schools and people and stuff like that. Okay. Now, in order to get into this program, they wanted $10,000 up front to like buy in as like a franchisee or whatever it's called, right?
Yeah.
And so I told them I don't have $10K to put to invest in this right now. Me being the hustler that I am, I told them, but I will work my butt off. So if we can work something out to where, I only get like 50% of my commissions or whatever, so y'all recoup the 10,000, and then we can just roll like that. Yeah. They pretty much laughed in my face, right? And so of course I was frustrated, but then God hit me with something. He was like, why are you begging these people to do something that you can do on your own, and you can probably do better? Bam. That was the birth of Higher Ed Path.
You know what? That's honestly, that's how it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like when you have an idea for a business or whatever, your first thing is, for me, if I have an idea, I always go to God and be like, you know, is this from you? Or
Right.
you know, like I gotta, you know, I have to just clarify, like get clarity, you know, peace of mind, just to know that I'm not just coming up with these off the wall ideas, you know, and once I, you know, get justification, then you do research, and that next step is like very important, because once you start doing research, like you saying, you look into stuff and you get an opportunity, but it's like, well, did God tell me that there was gonna be a middleman? Right. And you like, dang, I literally went over here to this manufacturer or this, you know, but God didn't tell me about these other people. So what's the vision? Like you gotta get honed in. You see what I'm saying? Like it's like you always have when you think about it initially, it's always like a broad thing, and then you kind of dive in and he reveals a whole lot to you. I know that happened to us several times, like working in business in general. So I feel you, man.
I mean, it can be a scary thing. It can be an uncomfortable thing, but you know, for those that are believers, just continuing to develop and strengthen their relationship with God is important throughout it all. You know, and then if you know something is from Him, just work the process and don't give up. And He's going to guide you through it. And most of the time, things aren't going to play out like you expected, like you expect them to play out anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So don't try to box God in as far as like what you think the route is going to be. But if you're on the right path, then just continue and following Him and following that path. Right. And things are going to work out.
Yeah. So kind of piggybacking off of that, what challenges did you face during the startup process?
Wow. How long do we have for this interview? I would say, I would say the number one challenge, well, not even the number. One of the challenges was capital, money, to fund the business and keep it afloat. Another challenge was just like understanding the market and what the market needed and how to create it and present it to them. The services at the time, and there's so much that goes into it that, you know, if you're just a beginning entrepreneur, when you're creating a new business, you don't really even know what half of the issues are until you're a year into the business, 2 years into the business, 3 years, and just going through that process and things definitely not working out like I thought they would, as fast as I thought they would in the beginning. And but yeah, I would say those two things: just learning the market, finding the money to keep the business afloat when revenue isn't where you want it to be, and then learning how to create the systems in your products and services to where everything is sustainable and scalable.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we move on to the next question, this is kind of like a part 2 of this question. So, did you start the business while you were currently working? Because I know the answer to this question, but I want you to answer it for our viewers so that they can get a full scope of how you built this out.
Oh, okay. Yes, I started the business while I was still working. So I started it in September of 2016, and I didn't leave my job until October of 2019.
How hard is it to hold so many hats in your business? Don't you joke.
All right. Right. So I mean, I had to learn this a hard way, but not really because of it's something that I didn't want to do. It's just that I didn't know how to do it at the time.
Mhm.
But basically, the way I do it is not to hold so many hats. Right. I have a team now.
Yeah.
I held now in the beginning. I was trying to fit all the hats on my head.
Yeah.
It was stacked up and falling off and like all kind of stuff. I was trying to balance, and it wasn't working.
Right.
And so now I have a team in place where right now I mainly handle the like marketing in the sales side of everything, and just kind of being the face of the company. And then I have a team that executes most of the little details, especially when we're working with the clients and doing all of the work that needs to be done with the college admissions help, the scholarship searching and applications, all that kind of stuff. I have a team that does all of that. And although I'm great at that, I made sure to hire quality people,
Right.
or that team up with quality people that they're just as good or better than me at doing it. So it's not a disservice to our client. It's better serving the client because I'm not spread too thin trying to do everything for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So that's actually pretty dope because you get to kind of see a full scope of where he started and where he got to right now. Because like he said in the beginning, he wore a whole lot of hats.
Right.
And that's, I mean, it's like that for us, even right now. So not to say that we're in the beginning stages, but a lot of people that are in businesses, at some point in time, they have to do, if not everything, like you're pretty close to doing everything in the business.
Yeah.
And then once you start getting traction, you kind of move forward into building a team and things like that. And I feel like it's important to know that, especially with you and your particular role, man, it's a lot of tedious pieces. So here's a question that I know is gonna be like crazy. How hard was it for you to kind of detach yourself from certain situations, like because you're delegating now to these team members? How hard was it, like you from transitioning process, because you were doing everything, now you're like, okay, how do I let somebody else do something because they may not do it as good as I'll do it? So how did you deal with that?
Got you. First of all, let me back up and just to highlight what you said. You may, even in the beginning, you may be in a position to where, you have to wear all the hats, and that's okay. And as a matter of fact, it might even be good because you get to learn all the elements, what to do and what not to do for each little whatever task, job, whatever the case may be. And then I'll recommend documenting processes and things like that, so that when you do start to delegate, you'll have something a little formal or structured that you give the people, kind of plug them into a system. Right. So it won't just be kind of like them winging it or whatever the case may be. So if you're doing it on your own now, just start setting up systems to where when you get to the point where you don't have to do it on your own, it can be a little more structured. Yeah. So to answer your question, number one, I got to that point because I was tired, stressed, and just stretched too thin, doing everything myself. So I was ready. I was ready to kind of give up some stuff. Where in the beginning, I wasn't, because I felt like this happens a lot of times. A lot of people feel like, I don't want to give somebody else control of this because they might not be able to do it as good as I can, right? But I was already past that point. I was ready. And then my second tip would be, whatever help you get, be diligent in your vetting process.
Yeah.
Right. When I first started getting help, right, some of y'all are familiar with a site called Upwork, and it's a site where you can hire freelancers. It's kind of like Fiverr.
Yeah.
Right. And so on there, you can post a job or a task, and I get really detailed with what the work, the duties are, what the tasking requires, right? And I get real detailed on the type of experience that I prefer the person to have, and you could select what's the criteria of the people the people that you want the post to be visible to, right? So that weeds out a lot right there. Then you start getting proposals, pretty much almost like people applying for the job, applying for the task, and they respond with cover letter. They respond with samples of their previous work, their experience, and then so I match. There's a large pool of people, so you kind of get to pick and choose the cream of the crop. And then when you choose somebody, I usually choose about, if I need one person for a job, I usually choose about 2 people, right? And at first, 2 or 3 people. And at first, I kind of like give the same assignment to all 2 or 3 of the people that I hire, and then that way I can get a feel for who's the. Like, it's funny because some people will come back to you faster. Wow, that was a quick turnaround time, and it's real quality work. Or one of them may have real quick turnaround time, but it's not as thorough work. Right. Or so you'll just notice these little differences in their work ethic and their quality. And then once you find somebody that works really well and achieves everything up to your standards, you can just select that person to continue working with long term.
Yeah. How do you know if the task warrants 1 person, 2 people, 5 people, 10 people? I guess from a viewer standpoint, if I'm looking at your business, do I need to add 5 people to do this task if it was just me doing it initially? You see what I'm saying?
So yeah, I see what you're saying. A lot of that for my business, it just has to do with how many clients we have at one time.
Gotcha.
So if it's X amount of clients, I know that I need 1 person that specializes in each of these tasks. Now, say we sign a contract with some organization or a school district to handle 50 students at a time or 100 students at a time, then I know basically, if we have X amount of clients, I'm gonna need to hire X amount more help in these other positions.
Right.
So for me, it's all about the volume, like how many clients that we have. So,
this is a good question. Okay. Do you feel that you work more now or when you had a regular, 9 to 5 regular?
Oh, that is a good question. And it's an easy one too. I work way more now. I work way more now. Yeah. So don't have any misconceptions about what entrepreneurship is. It's not just sitting back and you're just working a little bit and then you're just at home playing video games and binging episodes and stuff like that, because your business will fail quickly if you think that's what it's all about. So no, I work a lot now.
I honestly feel like that is a common like misconception from a lot of people, and especially like talking to some of our friends or whatever too that want to start businesses or whatever, or have them and they're trying to keep them afloat. It's like like they're so used to like delegating and telling people like what to do, but if you're just starting a business, you don't know what to do all the time. So how are you going to tell somebody, hey, go sign this contract? And it's like, what am I doing this for? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I feel like when it comes to the piggyback, what you were saying earlier, wearing all the hats and stuff too, I feel like that's a number 1 entrepreneur type of person. Because I feel like if you've worn 1,000 different hats, like once it comes time for you to get a team or, get help or whatever, it's easier to tell and show people how to do that specific task because you have actually done it.
Yeah, you gotta have experience.
Right, rather than being the entrepreneur person that's just like, hey, go sign that. Hey, run over there and do that. And it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
and the example that she gave is perfect, because if you start, you really don't know how much time it's gonna take to do something until you actually do it yourself. And and see when you're working for somebody else, that time they may say, hey, let's use like Facebook posts, for example. I need you to post 10 Facebook posts per hour. You know, if they gave you that task to do that for an hour, like if you're working for yourself and it's your time on, you know what I mean? And especially in the beginning, I'll tell you, like it's totally different than if somebody paid you to do something. Because if it's on your own time, you have the choice to say, hey, I want to get up at 9 o'clock like I used to. You have the choice to say, I want to get up at 1 o'clock p.m. Like you know what I mean? Like you can pick your own work hours. So I feel a lot of people, I guess, they don't realize that the discipline that it takes to actually take your business serious in the beginning, because you can easily fall by the wayside and then months, years go by and you're like, why am I still in the same place? Because you just gave away all your time to things that just didn't matter. So man, like for us,
that's real talk.
Like,
and I think that's why that's one of the reasons why so many businesses fail, is because I think people underestimate the amount of work it requires.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely have spent probably more hours that we worked. Let's just say the last time we actually had jobs, let's just say we worked 40 hours a week per person.
Well, the last job I had, I was there for 8 years. I was saying the more work, I've done the most work with our business than
that's
I
what
did
I'm saying. Like,
a total of 8 years. And that was a medical that was medical. So just imagine how much was medical. So it's like, okay, that's a whole lot. So even when I left my job, I was like, oh, this gonna be a breeze. And then it was like, wait, it's just us. Wait.
Especially when you're building something from scratch.
I feel like a lot of people cater to, or not really cater. The only thing, it's like when somebody's like you see a sign and it's like, oh, free apples, and like you can go get you some free apples, but you can also go to McDonald's and buy some apple slices. But I feel like people pay more attention to, like when they see entrepreneurship, oh, you need to do your own hours and do your own time. Everybody pays attention to that. It's like, yeah, you get to do that and wake up when you want to. You gotta pay, like you have to pay the price somewhere down the line.
And that's why I get frustrated when people. Like you said, a lot of people like to glorify entrepreneurship and just like throw it out there like everybody should be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you working for the man? You need to start your own business. And it's like, okay, that sounds good in theory, but everybody's not cut out to be an entrepreneur or have their own business. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think people just have a misconception about what entrepreneurship is.
And is it rude to say that sometimes the people that say that, they be like, oh, you need to go start your own business. Don't you got a 9 to 5 too?
Yes.
Hey.
Like,
look, even working in education, you have people like these kids, they don't need to be going to college and getting a degree. It's just a waste of time and money. And I'm like, but you have a degree and you have a job that requires a degree and you're benefiting from it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't think people pay attention. I feel like it's just like people just feel like they have to respond. It's like when you say, "Hey, how are you?" It's like you're gonna respond because I asked you a question, but it's like just sometimes.
Everybody has their own path.
Yeah.
You know, there's no cookie cutter answers to any situation.
Yeah.
So now the one thing that I will say is that I do believe people should have multiple streams of income. You should have more than one source of income.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's lots of different ways to do that, and having a side hustle or having a business is just one of those ways. So if that's for you, if business ownership is for you, then yes, it may be something else. It may be real estate investing or like dividend stock investing or whatever the case may be. But there's all kinds of different ways to create multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say something before we hop into this next question. I wanted to say that that's one of the things that frustrates me the most is that side hustle word. Because I'm like, like it frustrates me because it's like if my business, it doesn't matter if it pays my bills, it doesn't matter any of that. If it's operating,
Right.
and the IRS can potentially get they cut out of what I'm making. It don't matter if it's $1, $2, whatever. If they could potentially get a cut out of that, then I feel like it's a business and you're operating, and it should be respected in that manner. But people don't respect it until it reaches their standard of what success is. You see what I'm saying? Like if your business isn't making $10,000, $20,000 a month, it's not a real business until you hit that mark.
Or if I can't go to Google and search it, then it's like,
Yeah, like it's like, and then what's crazy though is that the people who are always like, oh, if I can't find you on Google, you ain't real. It's like, do you have any Facebook page, social media? Like it's always those people, and it's like you can have more than one form to make your business known to the world.
Right.
Like you don't have to have a website. A lot of
you don't have to have a website.
A lot of these businesses, especially now, if it's a visual type of business, like they'll use Instagram as their website basically. And then Instagram, they'll have a link on there that'll go, it's not even like a real website, but it's like an Etsy store or something like that. It's not, it's a store format. It's not like a website that has your bio and like all of this other stuff on there. It just literally you can buy stuff, and it's like, that's their website. So it's not necessarily important to have all of those things.
No, you don't. No, you don't need that. You don't need that. As a matter of fact, that if you're not careful, that can hold a lot of people up from even starting their business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a business idea, you can create a minimum viable product or a service, and you can begin to see if people are willing to pay you for that. Right. Before you even start going through all the hassle of trying to create a website and like marketing material and like all of that kind of stuff. You can start without all of that. And there's some very successful businesses that don't have the Google presence, don't have a website, because whatever they do, it's not important.
Right.
Whatever their service or their product is, they're able to find their clients and meet their customers' needs, and they don't even need a online presence. So it just depends on what type of business it is, what works for your business, what works for your customers.
Yeah. And I can guarantee there's a lot of businesses that have, especially Austin-based, businesses that are like those, hole-in-the-wall places that literally have not ever even done social media, period. Because, if it's a food place, they've spoken for themselves. They don't have to have a website or whatever. You're going to go because of food. But that's like, I guess due to the COVID, these places have been open 45 years plus and have never had that. But now due to COVID, a lot of places are getting websites and Instagrams and all that. So it's just crazy. You definitely can sustain without that.
And sidebar right here. Look, when it comes to businesses, or being a small business owner, I will say this. Don't let nobody lie to you and tell you that your 1-page or 2-page website is gonna cost $10,000. Because they will.
For real.
Hey,
please don't pay $10,000 for a website.
Hey,
I'm not saying ever. I'm just saying like if you're starting out, if your company is below a certain size, I wouldn't do it. That's just a waste of money.
Right.
Yeah, like I've had people try to get us with that, man, and it's like, why like at the most I need is 5 pages, you know, an about page, the home page, you know, it's just a couple of other pages with some more information. And it's just frustrating because a lot of people don't understand the concept of small businesses. Like we have this thing out here, it's called B2B, but I feel like when we're talking about B2B, it's business to business. So you're doing business with another business. So they don't have a lot of small businesses to small businesses. You know, why aren't there enough small businesses out here trying to, like their whole focus is on helping other small businesses? Because as somebody that's starting out in business, you always get hit upside the head with like a $10,000 fee for a website instead of another small business trying to offer it to you for like, hey, I'm gonna work with you for $150, $200, you know, and being able to do that, like we can work together. Like if I know my website's gonna only be $150, what other services do you have?
Right.
You know, let me try to, like, I'm more bound to work with you, you know, especially as a small business owner.
And with the first few years of starting a business, generally, you just want to bootstrap it. You want to keep your expenses low, all the things like marketing, advertising, building a website, all that kind of stuff. If you do that, you want to bootstrap. If you can do it yourself, do like Wix or something. That's how I did mine. I designed my own website, and then just continue improving and tweaking it, you know, as time goes.
Right.
But you definitely want to bootstrap it because you're going to learn so much within the first 3 to 4 years of your business that you know, if you dump a ton of money up front into stuff like that, it's just going to be a waste of money because number one, you're not even really going to know if your business works or if there's enough need or want in the marketplace for your business to be sustainable. You don't know if your products or services are priced correctly, right? You don't know if everything is designed to how the customer wants to receive it. You don't know the proper wordage on how to market and advertise, the right words to use. You don't know the advertising avenues that's most effective in reaching your customers. Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it email marketing? Do you need a newsletter? So it's like while you're learning all that stuff, at the beginning, you don't want to pump thousands and thousands of dollars into you know, stuff like a website before you even know what works. So start slow, bootstrap it. Over the first few years, you're going to find out what really works, what really doesn't. And then when you have a system in place, everything is clicking now. You done worked out all the kinks. You know what I'm saying? You done made iteration after iteration, and you know, you have everything makes sense. The numbers make sense.
Yeah.
Then you can start pumping more money into that visual presence and that marketing and advertising machine. Because by that point, you should be, you know, the more eyes you get coming to your website or coming to your Instagram page, or more people you get on your mailing list or whatever, you know that will equate to higher revenue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this question is really cool. But I want to do a spin on the question now that we're talking about bootstrapping. So what are some sacrifices that you had to make during that process of the beginning of the business? Because you were talking about bootstrapping. What were some sacrifices that you had to make?
Let's see. When in regards to bootstrapping, number one, like I said, instead of hiring somebody to build my website, I built it myself. I built it myself. I designed all the marketing material because in some previous work I used to do, I have some experience with graphic design and stuff like that. So I did all that. Didn't have a ton of money coming in from places and stuff like that. So I use a lot of my personal money to fund my business. So that's a huge sacrifice right there. Anytime you're taking money out your own pocket, you know. And then working a 40-hour-a-week job and just having, either after work at night or on the weekends to work my business. That's another sacrificing that time with family and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, everywhere you turn is a sacrifice. Those are just some, just to name a few.
Right.
That's the name of
Should have been what happened to you.
Yeah. But that's why you have to be passionate about what you're doing, because
yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
yeah, because if you're not, you're just gonna quit. You're gonna quit too soon.
Yep, and will not last at all. So,
Yeah.
how do you balance business, family, and spending time with your boo thing?
That's a good question. That's a good question right there. I would just say, I think it goes back to, y'all touched on this earlier about being disciplined, right? So if you're gonna schedule some time that you're gonna accomplish X, Y, and Z during this time period, then you need to make sure that's what you need to be doing, because if not, it's gonna spill over into family time or whatever. So when you're more structured and disciplined with your schedule and your work ethic, then you can set aside time to spend with your family, and it won't interfere.
Right.
So I would say that would be my number one. My number one advice is just, even if you're not the type of person that's not organized and you don't use a schedule, and there's not really much structure as how you go about your work day, then you need to start putting some of those things in place, because it's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of stress, just to make sure that you're being productive and making progress on your business goals during the time that you set out to be doing that.
Right.
If not, you'll find yourself like drifting off Facebook.
Yeah.
It's all kind of distractions out there.
YouTube.
Yes. What is the great? What is the word?
YouTube.
And my wife and I, just making sure that we're intentional with setting aside time for us, making date nights and all that kind of stuff, setting up babysitters so we can have some alone time. And you just really have to be on your game. It can be a lot, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It just becomes part of your routine.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm still and don't get me wrong, I don't have it all figured out. I'm still figuring this stuff out and getting better at it myself.
Right.
But yeah, just know that time with your kids and your spouse or your significant other is something that you can't sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here's an interesting question. What's the craziest customer situation that you've had ever, and how did you deal with it?
The craziest customer situation. Give me some time to ponder on that. I don't know. It's just, you just have the weird, so one time this guy was referred to us. We had did a presentation out of the church or something, and he wasn't there, but the people that brought us out referred him to us, right? So I did a call with him. He liked everything we had to do. He had 2 kids in college, and they were needing to find scholarships, and so he said he couldn't afford to pay everything all at once. So I was like, okay, cool. Set up a payment plan. Him, his kids, they're all gung ho about the opportunity, right? And so we get to work on their stuff, and we start providing lists of scholarships and just providing all this information, and the kids are just eating it up. And then all of a sudden, the dad just stops responding, and I'm needing them to do something. Okay, this is the next step. Have your kids fill out this form, blah blah blah, and just like no response. And and so then out of the blue, like 2 weeks later, after getting no response from him, he like sends a message, just asking for his money back, asking for a refund or whatever. Now let me pause right here. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this person did not ask for a refund because of poor service, right? Because we over delivered on what we said we would provide for him, and we got everything to him before. And if we told him it was gonna be to you by this deadline, we beat that deadline. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like it was nothing. It was I actually don't feel like it was. I don't know what it was, but couldn't get a response on why or what we did wrong. It could have been a money issue. I don't know. It could have been, but I don't think it was because of my conversations with him. Money really wasn't going to be an issue, right? So yeah, so I would say that I don't really have any crazy exciting stories about a customer, but though it's just situations like that where it's kind of mind-boggling, where you're like, okay, bam, this is working, we're doing what we do, this is why we do it, and then all of a sudden he just got ghosts and then asks for his money back. And and I think it's an important topic to touch on because stuff like that is going to happen sometimes. Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, you can let those experiences frustrate you, or you can just learn from the experience and just move past it. Because people are people. People are weird, and it's just like with sales. I don't know if y'all have ever been in sales before, but if you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, then you're going to be selling. You're automatically in sales, right? And so everybody knows what sales is all about. The numbers, it's all about the volume. You'll talk to 10 people, and 2 or 3 of them may buy, or 5 of them may buy. But so many people get caught up on those 6 or 7 that didn't buy, and they let them take up so much of their energy and their frustration. Like, oh, what did I do wrong? Blah blah blah. But you can't dwell on that. All you have to do is continue perfecting your system and just go through the numbers, keep working the system. And some people are gonna buy, and some people aren't. Right. So situations like that help in teaching me stuff like that, because out of all the clients that we've had, I think that's the only one that has ever canceled and asked for their money, right? Yep. And so at that point, I didn't really know how to handle the whole asking for the money back thing. We had already put in so much work. But what I did was I implemented a 2-week, or depending on what service package they get, I put in a satisfaction guarantee or a money back guarantee policy, right? Which stipulated, okay, you have 14 days or you have 3 weeks that if you want a refund, this is the process, and then we'll refund your money. So it's a little more structured. So it's not something like indefinite. I can get caught off guard. Somebody just hit me up 3 months down the line saying they want their money back. But so that even that experience helped me put something more structured in place as far as a satisfaction guarantee or a money back guarantee with specific time frames and specific parameters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, there are some people that are very different and will try, they'll try anything. Like honestly, with, for instance, like Walmart. I don't know how Walmart today is open. I don't know, but I know it's on the back end. But I can admit there's something that I used from Walmart and I took it back. But I mean, I think it's billions of people are doing that every day. How do you sustain that? But I mean, and not even just sustain it, but there are just people that'll just do that. That's their everyday thing.
Hey, look, let me tell you, after this pandemic is over, they gonna have a whirlwind, because during the pandemic, they're not letting people try on anything. They don't let people try on any other clothes.
It's like official sales.
So it said a lot of these stores like Walmart and it's a bunch of different stores that'll tell you that we won't accept any returns until after July or something, whatever.
But they keep moving the date though, because
yeah, they keep moving the date. So
Wow.
when they start receiving those returns, it's gonna probably dip in that pocket.
Ooh.
Wow. I didn't even know they were doing that. That's crazy. Yeah, because And then I just thought about it because some of them, they have to report their numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
And some of those numbers might not be as good as we think once those returns start coming in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but people are weird. People are people.
That's it.
So you just have to learn how to not internalize it or take it personally, but just keep perfecting your system and work the system.
Yep. So what would you say to someone who is either starting a business or thinking about starting a business or even just being an entrepreneur?
I would say, well, number one, every situation is different, so this might not apply to everybody, but just in general, I would say that depending on where you're at, I would say, keep your job. If you have a job, keep your job. In your downtime, after work, at night, after the kids go to sleep, on weekends, whatever the case may be, start working on your business, brick by brick, and don't wait for everything to be perfectly lined up or everything to be perfect before you put it out there in the public. Just get some basic things in place, and then put it out there to the market and see how the market responds, and continue growing and tweaking and improving your business based on those market responses. And the second thing I would like to say is, if it's something that you're passionate about, you're sold out on, if it's providing a significant need to your customers, then go into it with the mindset of you're in it for the long haul. So even when times get tough and you feel like quitting, you have to have a strong why for you to keep going. So just keep going, don't quit, keep grinding it out, and eventually things will be able to start falling in place. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
Big time.
Well, I got one last question. So this question, it's actually been our go-to question. We've asked it to everybody, so I think this is gonna be the golden question.
The golden question.
So how important is it to you to have family, community support, friends support you through this process?
That's a good question, bro. That is a good question.
And as far as community, we're talking about being a part of different organizations and things like that.
Okay. Man, I can say a lot on that. First of all, let me say this: if you don't have support from your family and friends, then do it anyway. And you might want to reconsider. You might want to reconsider what kind of friends you keep around you, right?
Let's clap on that.
You talking that game right now.
And secondly, what may help overcome that is like what you're talking about, getting plugged into different organizations, because there you're going to have like-minded individuals of different experience levels to where y'all can become a support system for each other. And you'll even find a few mentors that have already been successful going down a path that you've gone, and they can help guide you down that path. So just surround yourself with people that are going to encourage you, and motivate you, and uplift you, and then just start weeding out those people that are constantly negative and telling you can't do it, and you're crazy and that's a dumb idea, and all that kind of stuff. But plugging into organizations, that's key. Organizations and mentors, that's key. And they don't even have to be. So that's one thing. But also look for other mentors. They don't even have to be people you know. They don't even have to be alive. It's called books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's so many just business books, entrepreneur books, um, uh, on the business side and on the mindset side, the personal development side. Just continue being a sponge and soaking up that knowledge and staying plugged into the organizations and surrounding yourself with the right people, like my man Corey here. I know I can. If I'm going through something business wise, I know I can call him up, and even if I just need, vent for a second, he'll be like, "Man, I know what you're talking about." You know what I'm saying? Just get your head up. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You need people like that understand what you're going through, what you're going through.
Big time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate it because, like, honestly, this particular question has been so big and how it affects them.
Yeah.
I'll say that because, like, when I say the question, they're always like, but it's crazy because everybody answers the question the exact same way.
Literally.
If you face the situation or whatever, like if this is what you want to do, no matter what, it doesn't matter if it's your mama, your cousin, whoever, your job, if nobody supports it, still do it. If this was meant for you to do it. And everybody keeps saying it because it's like, it's always going to be pushback. Like, but the thing that we've learned is that you don't want to have yes people in your corner. Like, I want friends and family around me that can be honest with me and tell me, you tripping. Like, it's something wrong. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Like, I want you to be real. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I just want you to be honest with me so that it'll better me or better us in total. So the thing is, it's like, dude, I just want as many people to have people around them that they can really trust during this process, have people you can lean on, because if you don't, all you have is you, and you just gotta push through no matter what. It's good to have a partner too. Like, even if we weren't business partners, I think it's dope to have just at least one person to bounce ideas off of, because there'll be times where you get frustrated and you need somebody to make you feel like you're not tripping, like, because you might want to go off on a customer, or you might want to, like, just be like, I give up. I don't need people around me that are going to be like, look, well, just give up then.
Right.
I want somebody to be like, dude, are you serious? You just been working on this for 20 years and you going to give up now?
Right.
You spent up all of this money and you going to give up? Like, I need people to, like, be real. Like, this is my life and my dreams that I'm dependent on, and I'm not telling people to fight for my dreams like I would. I'm telling people that if you care about me enough, then your motivation should be to push me to achieve whatever it is that I want to achieve. Right.
Whether I fail or not, like.
Support is warranted. You know what I'm saying?
You just got to keep going, because God gave you the vision. Everybody's not going to understand it. So it's like everybody's not going to have the same level of understanding or the vision or the passion. But if God's trying to do something through you, you need to follow through to the best of your ability, because you don't know. I've only been in business 4 years, a little under 4 years, right? But after every year, I think back, okay, what if I would have quit that after that first year, the first time I felt like quitting, and then like all these things that happened that second year, and all the families and students I was able to help, that would have never happened. Right. Yeah. I can look back now and be like, what if I would have quit after year 3, the other time I felt like I wanted to quit. You know what I mean? And it's like every year I look back, I can see the growth of the business and the impact that it has on people in the community. And then when I think of the potential of what it could look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's just exciting, because the possibilities are limitless. Yeah. But if you quit, none of that can happen.
Yeah, and if you never start too, like, those are the two biggest things. It's like, I don't like how people say, well, I'll just try. But it's like, you got to do more than try to start.
Right.
You know, like
it's
it's like if you say you're gonna try, it's almost like you're teeter-tottering. Like you're right there, like, I don't know if I trust myself or whatever. It's like, I don't know.
Look, you can't be afraid to fail or make mistakes, because that's gonna happen. That comes with the game.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I mean, I just got finished reading the book where it was talking about like how you have to welcome failure and mistakes, because that's where you learn the most.
Yes.
Right. I still remember my very first clients. I remember my very first client. Our system was all jacked up. Right. We helped them, but it was like it just was not as good. It wasn't like it was today.
Yeah.
Our process with the scholarship searches, or the essay creation, like the whole thing, it was just rough, right? And then the what we charged her, which is all wrong. The way we charged her and processed the payment, it was just like all wrong, you know. And I always feel, when I think back to that first client, I always feel bad. So I'm like, man, I wish he just knew that we were just trying to figure stuff out back then.
Yeah.
But that's something that we have to go through in order to see what needed to be changed or fixed. It's like those are mistakes that if I had planned and prepared for 2 or 3 years before I felt comfortable launching my business,
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't have foreseen those things, right? So you don't want to over plan and over prepare before you even launch your business. Like Corey said, you have to get started, get something basic in place, and just get started, because those are the things I had to learn in real time with a real customer. I wouldn't have learned none of that stuff planning for 5 years before I launch, right? So the faster that you get started and the faster you start making mistakes, the faster your business will be propelled into success.
Absolutely, man. Fail your way to success.
Yeah. And I think that's the one of the biggest things too with people when it comes to business stuff. And I mean, not just entrepreneurial stuff, I guess, but just business in general. Like everybody, I guess it's set up this way because of the world we live in, like now. Mm-hmm. Everything is so, there's no delayed gratification. Like everything is microwave. Like it's always just like, oh, well, if I want to look cute on Instagram, I can snap a picture, add a filter, good, I'm done. So it's like everything is so quick, and so everybody's afraid of the unknown for one, but afraid of failure. So it's like, wait, my friends gonna see that I didn't do this right, or my family gonna talk about me, or like, how am I supposed to keep going? How am I supposed to show up at the family reunion now and everybody know that, you know, I filed for bankruptcy, or, you know, my business flopped, or like how, like people are so afraid of that because Instagram is happy. Like, you don't see, who posts a failure on Instagram? Nobody.
I mean,
or Facebook. Like, it's
I guess
so,
it just depends.
Very true. It depends. It does. It
really but in general, though, everything is all peaches and cream on Facebook.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I respect the people who just be real. You know, and that's the thing. Like you said, like, it's all about accepting failure as a part of success, of the success process, because you look at like people like Thomas Edison and I mean Elon Musk, you know, is like a new person, you know, like he doesn't always get it right. He doesn't, and I'll be honest with you, this man go in and out of the news like every other week, but he doesn't always get it right. But the thing is that, like, look how far he's come. You see what I'm saying? Even if you look at him and say, oh, I don't like him, he's stupid, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You can say whatever you want to say about him. That man's still a billionaire. Like, there's no way.
Elon
Elon
Musk is one of my favorite entrepreneurs. Yeah. And one thing that I love, I mean, Tesla is one thing, but I'm watching this SpaceX company really close.
Yeah.
And one thing that I love about SpaceX is that they have so many rocket launches that fail.
Mm-hmm.
Like the launches fail, and the rocket will like blow up on the launch pad, or like blow up after a little bit after it. And it's like sometimes it's in the news, but a lot of times it's not. But they fail so much. But he was recently in the news, and I actually didn't pay close attention to this story, but I know the president was involved. They had some kind of launch where they like launched some people into space or something like that. I think that's what it was. But it was successful, right? But even when it comes to something as big and as expensive as creating rockets to go into outer space,
Yeah.
I mean, they losing millions and billions of dollars just failed launches, right?
Yeah.
But they have to go through that in order to work out the kinks, in order to have to get to the point where they can be successful.
Yeah.
And I mean, Elon Musk and his companies, they're going to change the face of the planet.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But they're not afraid. They're not afraid to make those mistakes.
Yeah. Legit.
Man. Well, look, man, we really appreciate you like being a part of this, having straight up conversations with us. Like we always say, man, our hope is that through these conversations, it'll open up dialogue and it will help somebody that's dealing with similar situations. If you want to start a business, or maybe you have a business and you're trying to grow your business, we hope that these conversations will help you learn and help you figure out how you can move better in your current situation and achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. But we love you guys. We love you, ET Squad, and we will see you guys
on the next video.
Peace.